welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany. If you're new here, I am a mom of two and I'm currently expecting my third baby in basically a month. It is coming down to the wire, you guys. I am now 34 weeks pregnant and I am getting so excited anticipating the birth of our baby boy. So today in this video, I'm gonna be talking about baby, I'm gonna be talking about my symptoms, and I'm gonna be talking about my care and some things that I've learned in the last week that is gonna possibly drastically change my birth. So I'm gonna get into that later on in the video, but first off, let's get started and let's talk about baby. Okay, so baby is now at around 18 inches long and weighing at around 5 pounds. And baby is actually gonna be gaining about half a pound a week now until he is born. So we are basically in the last month. For me, I have only around 5 weeks left until I have him, which is wild. He is doing really well. His heart rate is around 120 right now, and he is looking good. He's measuring on time. Basically with baby is that his movements are not as big. Like I've said in my past update, he is doing a lot more rolling and pushing and stretching. There is obviously some kicking going on in there, but I'm feeling it more in my back than I am in the front sometimes. And that's really, really uncomfortable. And it's really, really low movement. And that is definitely unique, a unique feeling that is just, it's not very pleasant. So as he gets bigger, I know that those movements are just gonna get so much more uncomfortable. But overall, I think he's doing well as far as I know. And yeah, everything's looking good. So moving on to my symptoms, I am just basically uncomfortable at this point. Everything I do just takes so much effort and energy, I feel like, and I'm starting to really, really slow down. I'm so thankful that I had a big list of things that I wanted to get done before I hit the third trimester, because I knew my energy was just gonna be gone by the time third trimester rolls around, and that's been true for me every single time. And I feel like those little spurts of nesting energy, I just haven't really gotten very many of those because I'm taking care of 2 other kids, which is just such a different experience than just taking care of one. So anyway, I'm finding myself so much more tired and exhausted this time. Another symptom that I've been dealing with is heartburn. It usually happens around the evening time because I don't know why, it just always happens for me. Thank goodness it's not happening while I'm sleeping or laying down, but just always in the evening time, no matter what I eat, but especially if I eat anything with tomatoes in it. It just does not sit well with my stomach and it's so uncomfortable. Another symptom that I've been dealing with a lot more, like I'm honestly dealing with it right now, is Braxton Hicks contractions. So if you are unaware of what these are basically false labor contractions, and it's just your uterus practicing for real labor. So it is quite uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt necessarily, but there's just this tightening feeling on your belly, and it can feel a bit uncomfortable. And as of course you get closer to your due date, you may get them a lot more frequently. Like me, I'm getting them so often right now, and I really need to try harder to be more hydrated, because the more hydrated you are, the less Braxton Hicks you will have. So it's really important for you to be drinking water at this time. And yeah, just change your position, drink water if they aren't stopping. Keep an eye on those like I am. But this has happened to me every single pregnancy. I will actually start having Braxton Hicks at around 20 weeks, and that's been pretty normal for me for all my pregnancies. So I knew that this was gonna happen, and it doesn't worry me too much, but when I'm getting more than I would like to, it's my body telling me I need to slow down and rest and drink water. Another symptom that has definitely been continuing for me is lightning crotch, which is so painful sometimes. It's just like a jolt of intense pain in your lady bits, and it just hurts so bad and it takes you by surprise sometimes. So that is definitely something that's continuing for me. And I know that he is head down, even though that doesn't really matter for me for my scheduled C-section. But because of his movements and everything, and because I've gone a lot of that, I know that he's there. And also my midwife did confirm that for me on Tuesday this past week as well. Okay, so basically my symptoms have been almost identical to my last update. So I'm gonna move on to talking about my care. At my midwife appointment this past week, she told me that I am now going to be having appointments every single week until my scheduled C-section. So just to check my blood pressure, make sure I'm measuring on track and all those things, and to answer any questions that I have leading up to my scheduled C-section on June 30th. So my midwife actually told me some information because of different protocols in the OR. Now that we're in a pandemic, things have changed. And so I had asked my midwife about these things a few weeks ago. And so I thought I understood and knew what was going to happen, but now I had some new information change. So my midwife did tell me that I do need to get tested before I go into the hospital, about 2 or 3 days before I go to the hospital, and I need to have negative results. I did know this already, and I was planning on doing that anyway. This is just local to my hospital, by the way. This is not universal, but this is what my midwife told me. Basically, if I go into labor before my scheduled C-section date, I will not be able to have my support person. I will not be able to have Luke in the OR with me while I give birth. So I will be alone in the OR with just the doctors and nurses who will be doing the surgery with me. My husband will not be able to witness the birth of his son. So if I do not have test results that confirm that I am negative, or if I get test results that I am positive, he will not be able to be in the OR with me, which for me is kind of devastating. I understand that hospitals have their policies for reasons, and I totally understand that. But that is so difficult because Luke has been like the best support for me during my births. He distracts me. It's just such an amazing experience to be able to do that together and for him to witness the birth of his baby. But basically, if I make it to my C-section date, everything should be fine. I'm most likely gonna have negative results as I literally don't really leave my house. And I'm just really taking it easy at this time. So I'm planning on everything to go as planned, but if I do go into labor before, I will not be able to get test results in time because they won't even really do a rapid test if I'm in labor. And if they choose to do one, it takes 3 hours to come back. So I probably won't be able to get the test results back in time for my operation. So it's really upsetting to hear that. And also my heart just hurts for all the women who are having emergency C-sections and didn't get tested for before they went into labor, because how are you supposed to know you're supposed to go into labor? So I just really, really feel for all of the moms having to have emergency C-sections right now because their partners are just not able to be there with them at the hospital that I'm giving birth at. So that was very new information for me. And to be honest with you, it did stress me out a lot. Even though I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna make it to my C-section date because I don't go into labor until basically my due date, which has happened both times for my past births. But you never know. You never know what can happen in between then and now. And I know that's just one of my personal wishes is to have my husband there with me. And I think that's for any mother. You want your support person to be there with you. Having a C-section, it feels cold in there anyway, you know, and you want that comfort of that person with you. And so to me, that just kind of, I don't know, made me really, really sad. So I have been kind of dealing with those emotions throughout the week. And I knew that I had a phone call with the OB that is going to be doing my surgery today. So I actually just got off the phone with him not even an hour ago. And I just had a few questions for him because I heard through the grapevine, you know, once your baby is born, like they're whisked away and you don't get to see them. Am I not gonna be able to have my husband there with me, and then I won't be able to snuggle my baby after he's born until, like 20 minutes later after he's stitched up and everything? And so I asked him these questions, and he basically said that, no, like that's not true. Like he'll show me the baby, and then he'll be assessed to make sure that everything is okay, and then he'll be brought back to me, and I'll be able to snuggle with him and like be there with him until I'm done being stitched up, and then I'll be sent off to the recovery room with Luke and my baby. So that is totally normal, and that's exactly what happened last time. So for me, I was just super, super relieved to find out that information, because C-sections are just so different than a vaginal birth where you get to hold your baby as soon as they're born. And And I haven't had that experience. And so for me to not even be able to hold him almost immediately after he's born was something that I was like not wanting to be robbed of even more of, you know? So I was pretty emotional about that, but I'm really happy to hear that that is not going to happen, that, you know, things are going to go normally with my C-section as much as they can. In the instance that I do go into labor before my scheduled day, that is the only thing that I'm really afraid of right now. And so I can't worry about the future. I can just take every day for what it is. And if that is to happen, I just really care about my baby being safe and me being safe. So we'll just deal with it as it comes. But it also just kind of sucks because I just don't like these protocols. And of course I know that they're there for a reason, but it just doesn't make it any easier. So basically, apart from that, my OB did tell me that I will have a morning slot for my C-section. So it will be happening in between 8 and 10 a.m. And I will get a call the day before of when that time will be. And so I need to be at the hospital 2 hours before my time on June 30th. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm preparing for the kids to be dropped off before we leave and for us to go to the hospital after that. So whew, it's becoming so real, guys. Like being able to talk to my midwife and the OB about all this stuff, it's making it so much more real that like, wow, baby is gonna be here so soon. And I'm so excited to just finally hold him. I'm just gonna feel such a sense of relief after he's here, which is gonna be so amazing. So anyway, that is where I'm gonna end today's pregnancy update. Whew, it's a lot to take in, and I know for me, like this week was just a week of processing, finding out all this new information, but I know that things are gonna go well, and all I can do is really pray and hope for the best. And I just wanna say thank you all for supporting me through this journey coming up on giving birth to my son. So anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful if you're in your own pregnancy journey. Anyways, thank you guys again so much for watching. Make sure you do give this video a big thumbs up. That helps me so much. And make sure you do subscribe, and we'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.